Hello, in this video I'll be explaining how to set up an economy/bank for your server. So starting with the example here, say you have 64 things of coal blocks. In my system, coal is worth 9 times less than redstone. So you put in these 64 coal blocks, and I'll speed this up, you get 64 things of redstone, because each block is 9 things of coal. And now you take your redstone and you turn it into block form, and then lapis lazuli is worth 9 times as much as redstone. So you put in your redstone blocks here, and for each redstone block, I'll come out here in a second, you get 1 thing of lapis. And then you only have 7 lapis, so you don't have enough to go up another level. So starting from the other end, if you had 1 emerald, and you place that here, this expands your value. In the other way, you are condensing your value. So you put in 1 emerald, and you get out the equivalent of 9 diamonds. And then you can put in those 9 diamonds, and get out 81 things of gold, because 1 diamond is worth 9 gold ingots. And that does devalue gold a little, but you don't really find emeralds that often, and it makes emeralds a lot more valuable. So if you start from the left here, you're condensing value. You're putting more items in than you're getting out, and then starting in the middle, you start expanding value. Starting from this block right here and going to the right, it expands value. You get more items out than you put in. And this basically creates an economy, because this makes it so 1 emerald is worth the same amount as 9 diamonds. And that basically gives you different denominations of money. So I'll show you how to build the mechanism that powers the whole bank. So you'll need a hopper, comparator, redstone, torch, repeater, and some type of block, and a chest. So grab the chest. And normally I would use bedrock, since the bank is exactly the kind of thing people would want to break into. But for this I'm going to use lapis, just so you can see the redstone easier. And grab a trap chest as well. So chest, trap chest, and then some kind of block. I would use bedrock if I were you. So you're going to build a sorter, very similar to the sorter in my other video, but a little different. So build your almost a square shape there. It's a square except for 1 corner missing. Put your repeater and a torch on the other side of the block with the repeater facing into it. Put your chest like that, and have a hopper above the torch running into it. Place a repeater under the chest facing away from the torch, and then place a hopper facing away from the repeater, but so it's being powered by the repeater. Place your trap chest on top of that second hopper, and then place your comparator like this, and your 2 lines of redstone. And that's your first sorter all done pretty much, except we need the hoppers. These are where the money will go in, and then it'll be dispensed separately. And pretty much this bank is just made of a bunch of these sorters placed next to each other, depending on how many different types of currency you're using. So I'll need to break this sign, and I'll show you how this will feed your money out. So that's the bottom chest is where your money will go out into, and that top hopper is where you'll put the money in. So top one, you put in 1 emerald at the top and get out 9 diamonds in the bottom. And then break this chest we built earlier. Actually, shouldn't be a large chest, it should be a regular sized chest. And then that's pretty much it. This whole bank is just a bunch of those sorters right next to each other. That's pretty much the whole thing. So I'll build one more so you guys can see just how to build them right next to each other. But they don't really interfere in any way. The only trick is placing the chests so they don't connect. So when this torch turns off, it lets your payment through, but it also lets whatever type of money you're exchanging through in a 1-to-1 ratio. And because it takes 9 items to make 1 block, that makes it a 1-to-9 ratio. So I'll build this second sorter next to it and go through it quicker this time. Put your comparator and your redstone. You don't have to worry about the redstone overlapping. Put your repeater, torch on the other side, and then if you have a chest, put a trap chest next to it, and if the trap chest, put a chest next to it. So you get a checkerboard pattern. Put your hopper above your torch, put whatever kind of chest you need to put the hoppers connecting it like that, and then put your other repeater. So it's literally the exact same machine, just jammed right up against itself. Put your hoppers going through, connecting to the comparator like that. And you're done with your second one. So now you just need to make, in my case, 10 more. So I used coal as the least valuable, So coal turns to redstone, that's one exchange. Redstone turns to lapis, that's two exchanges. Lapis turns to, in my case I did gold, but I used gold nuggets. And then gold turns to diamond. And diamond turns to emerald. So that's a total of 5, which means you need 10. Because you need to do it in each direction, expanding and condensing. And that makes it so you can exchange your currency, so you can have a shop selling something really cheap for 1 coal, or have a shop selling something really expensive for 1 diamond or 1 emerald. And then when you go mining, you can exchange one currency into another form. So I'm going to build the 10 sorters, and then I'll continue the video from there. So here's all 10 sorters, and this is the mechanism that drives the whole bank. And you don't have to use 10. If you're using a different number of currency, you can use more or less. I'll explain that more later in the video, but for example, if you wanted to leave out redstone and go straight from coal to lapis, you could do that. So I always put the least valuable, the condensing side, on the left, but you can start on the right if you want to. In this video, I'll start from the left. So grab your coal, and then grab whatever you're putting out. So we're putting in coal, so set your sorter to sort for coal by putting 22 in the top and 1 in the bottom hopper. And then put redstone in here. If this was a real bank, I would fill this entire chest with redstone. But for this video, I'm just going to put 1 stack so I know what it's supposed to be putting out. So if you're condensing value, you should be putting in blocks and putting out individual units. And if you're expanding value, you should be putting in individual units, like emeralds, and putting out blocks like a diamond block. And you'll see if I put 1 coal block in, I get 1 redstone out. And if I put 5 coal blocks in, I will get 5 redstone out. So I'm just going to set up all the sorters really quickly, and then I'll fill the chest later. So put 22 in the top with 18 in the far left, and if you put 19 instead of 18, that'll put the 1 in your bottom sorter that you need. So then we'll do it for the lapis after the redstone. And remember, you don't have to do this in the same order as me. You can do it in a different order, or you don't even have to use the same things. But whatever items you use have to be able to be blocked, meaning turned into a block out of 9 of them, and deblocked, where you take a block and turn it into 9. Quartz, for example, you can block it, but you can't deblock it. But you could build a machine to deblock it, and I'll make a video for that in the future. So now we're starting to get into our expanding values. So we're not sorting for blocks anymore, we're starting to sort for individual units. And with gold, you can create a wealth gap, because you can use gold nuggets, so you can actually put in, if you get out 1 gold nugget, that means you actually need to put in 81 gold nuggets to make a block. So I can create a large wealth gap between different types of currency. I usually do it so I can sort of have an upper and lower division of currency. Also, you should notice that you don't have to build a sorter for emerald blocks, because there's nothing to condense emeralds into. There's nothing more valuable than emeralds using this system that I'm using for the example. So I'll fast forward through the last condensing sorter here, and then we'll start in the expanding sorter. So then you build your expanding sorters just like the condensing sorters, except you're putting in a single unit and getting out a block. And then you just set it up so the sorters correspond, so you put in a block of coal and get out 1 thing of redstone, and the other way you put in a block of lapis and get out 1 thing of gold. And you do that just by filling the chests I showed with the redstone earlier. And then the last thing you'll probably want to do before you build a bank like I did in this example video is you'll want to put a sign that says what you're exchanging, and maybe write a guidebook that explains how the whole system works. Pretty much the whole idea is that each currency is 9 times as valuable as the currency before it. So redstone is worth 9 coal, lapis is worth 9 redstone, etc. Except for gold, which like I said earlier in the video, you can use to create a wealth gap. That's up to you. You can also just ignore gold nuggets entirely and just use gold ingots, and that'll make gold work like any other type of blockable material. If you have any questions on how this all works, or any ideas on how to improve it, just leave those in the comment section below. Please subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'm going to be making new tutorials every Wednesday and Sunday. And like the video if you liked this video. Thank you for watching.